course, Alan Jouban is getting ready to fight Belal Muhammad coming up to UFC Fight Night 90, July 7th. It starts the fights for UFC Fight Week, International Fan Expo. It's an incredible week, man. It's just from a fan standpoint, it's amazing to see what's going on. You guys got to stay super focused because the fans are going to be there. There's all your sponsors are going to be there. All of them are going to want you to do, autograph signings and be at the tents and be at the booths. You're just like, look, man, this fight week, I can't be running around doing that extra kind of crap. You're genetically, we've talked about this before. Genetically, you're pretty gifted, which is why you're able to still do all the modeling. It doesn't take much for you to get back in model shape, even if you're not in full training camp. But you still got to worry about your diet. What's it like for you in a space like Vegas, especially when it's going to be tough for you to go down to the hotel? It's going to be tough for you to walk around and because everyone's going to be in looking for autographs and looking to pull your time. It's going to be hard for you to go down to the restaurants to get food. What's it like for you when you're trying to stay, on your diet as much as you can while you're trying to get ready for the fight during a fight week like this?
Yeah. This is my first time fighting in Vegas professionally. I started off my amateur career with Tough Enough in that organization. I had a lot of great fights out there. So I haven't been back to Vegas and fought myself professionally in quite a while. And like you said, man, Vegas is the mecca of MMA. And then it's International Fight Week, the Fan Expo, 3 fights in a row. You said it, man. There's going to be guys at the bottom of every lobby wanting autograph signings and this and that. Plus, it's 4th of July week. I mean, there's a bunch of crap going on. So, yeah, you just have to kind of, I think, be aware of that, not losing your focus or kind of managing your time wisely, I would say. You know what I mean? And I've gotten better at that. The first time that I started getting people waiting for me in the lobby to sign autographs, I wanted to sign every one. It was exciting. Now I'm at the point where I know, how to manage my time. If I have to go and do some training or something, I'll get the autographs later. But as far as the weight cut, man, I always stay pretty on point, and I think that's what fight week for me and my team is usually pretty fun. I have a good group of guys, my coaches. We get along really good. We like to make the most out of fight week, go and maybe explore, do something fun. We go and enjoy ourselves, but then when it's time to do work, we do our work. We don't have to focus on the weight the whole time. We're not in the room the entire time because I get within that 10 to 12 pound range when I arrive during fight week. 4 days early, 5 days early, you get there, as you know, and we get on the scale right away. So the UFC knows that you're in weight, that you're on point. There's not going to be any surprises. I always get there within about 12 pounds. So for me, if I'm in 12 pounds within a week of the fight, I feel like from there it's about a pound a day and it's a pretty easy cut. So yeah, it's really just going to be managing the chaos in the lobby, not having to worry about my weight so much.
So are you a guy that likes sitting at home and being home all day when you're not training, or are you someone that likes to be out doing stuff? Because that becomes a problem. If you're a guy that likes to be at home, sitting in a hotel room is not that bad. But if you're a guy that likes to be out and about and running around, it's going to become a problem because now you're like, where am I going to go? The Strip? It's 110 degrees outside. Where am I going to go? I'll walk around the hotel. Now I got to sign everybody's autograph. So what kind of guy are you?
It does wear you down walking around like that. Man, I'm kind of both. During fight camp, you're training twice a day. I have a son. I bring him to school, this and that. So honestly, in my normal day-to-day routine, I stay home because I go train in the morning. I come home. I recover for 2 hours. I go pick my son up from school. I teach classes. I train again at night. So whenever I have downtime, it's really focusing on myself, focusing on recovery. But so when fight camp comes, it's kind of different. I don't have to worry about teaching other people. I could be solely worry about myself. And I'm not training twice a day. It's tapered down, obviously. So fight week, I actually get out a little bit more. Our last fight was in Australia, and we did a lot of stuff, man. We rented a car for 3 days, and we went up and down the coast, went and trained with John Wayne Parr. We went to kangaroo farms and koala farms and all kinds of fun shit. We wanted to make the most of the trip while we were there. And so Vegas is Vegas. But I expect that we'll do something kind of fun. Take your mind off of things. There's no point. We always come up with this conclusion, me and my coaches, the day of the night, the day of the job, the day of the fight, that's when you need to flip that switch completely. And also for weigh-ins. Up until then, the 4 days that you're there, it's more to us about being relaxed, not over-stressing, over-exerting yourself. When you go to the room to do, your one session a day, make sure you polish what you need to polish. And then after that, just kind of relax. Take your mind off of fighting. Once the weigh-ins come, I kind of flip that switch, go into game mode when I look them in the eyes, and then flip the switch again fight day. But other than that, it's kind of more of like a vacation, and then I have to be a professional when I'm needed.
Let's talk about Belal Muhammad. How do you see this fight? Is he a lateral move for you, or is this a step up in competition?
You know, it's a tough one, man, because he is a very good fighter, but he does not the name. It's his UFC debut. So in that regard, he's not a step up. I don't take him lightly, and he's a very good competitor. He's undefeated. We talk about his assets. He's undefeated. He's never tasted defeat. He's just coming off of a very big win where he's a title holder in Titan FC, and he came off of a win off of a very experienced southpaw. Like, I'm a southpaw. He just fought a southpaw. Off of an experienced guy, Steve Carl, who I think his record was 22-4. So in his mind, which I try not to get into my opponent's mind too much, he's very momentum. He's got a momentum going. He should be very confident right now, making his UFC debut against me. How does he feel with the matchup against me? I don't know. With him, I was going against Nordine Talib before he got injured. In my mind, Nordine was a very good, ranking-wise, I think he was a little bit above me in the rankings. So I was looking forward to that fight because I really wanted to go out there and put on a show and put on a display and put Nordine away and make a statement, putting my next shot somewhere close to the top 15 contentions. With Muhammad, he's making his UFC debut. I'm hoping that the UFC hardcore fans realize his potential, being an undefeated fighter, being a title holder, and either way, to be honest, whoever it was, Nordine or Muhammad, I'm coming out in this fight, and the game plan hasn't changed. I was coming out to put on a show, not to put on a show for the fans necessarily as much as I want to make a statement. I wanted to put this guy away. I wanted to put Nordine away, and I want to put Muhammad away. And Dustin Poirier said it really good in his last fight at 199. He was kind of almost pissed off after his fight. He put on a great show beating Bobby Green, and he said, I don't want to be the guy opening a pay-per-view card. I want to be the guy headlining it. And Dustin's got a lot more fights than me, but I'm on that same track. I don't want to be just another guy floating in the UFC. I know that I have the potential to be in the top 15 and be making waves and climb my way to the top. I just need to do more shows, put away more people, like my last fight. I went out there in Australia, my last fight, and I had the mindset that this is an opportunity to put a guy away and make a statement. And I did that, and I got that momentum back, and I want to do the same thing in this fight. Put this guy away early, make a big statement, and grab a big fight after this.
I'm familiar with Muhammad because I've interviewed him for Titan, where he beat Steve Carl, and before that he beat Zane Kamaka. So that's why I'm familiar with him, because I've had to interview him. And then, of course, because I interview him, I want to watch the fight and see how he does and that whole thing. Otherwise, to be honest with you, he really is under the radar. So when this fight came out as a matchmaker, I was like, maybe Alan pissed somebody off. Like, maybe they're stepping on him a little bit. Like, because for me, at first instance, looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is like a drop down. It's like a step down for Alan. That's what's happening. But it's not. It's a step up. Because he is undefeated, he is on a good string. And like you said, he's very momentum based. He's got a lot of momentum going on. So this is actually a step up on paper. I'm not saying stylistically. I'm not saying the matchup. I'm just talking about on paper when you're looking at this fight, trying to break it down on the internet, being a keyboard warrior. I'm like, wow, this is a step in competition for Alan. This guy's he's finishing fools. He's doing a lot of work. He decisioned Zane Kamaka, but I think he's got like 5 finishes other than that. So this guy, he's good. He really is good. Yeah. I don't know if he has your cardio though. I'm not sure he's got your strength against the cage. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think I definitely have some advantages over him. I think he's put some guys away. He put Steve Carl away, but I think he's naturally not a power striker or a smell blood finisher as I am. I've got like an 85% finishing ratio. I think I'm gonna have like 9 knockouts on my record, where he's got a lot less than that. His ratios of finishing fights, knocking guys out, are far less. He lands a lot more strikes. He throws a lot of strikes. He stays active. His last fight, he put Steve Carl away in the 4th round, so I'm not sleeping on his cardio, but I know he's more of a momentum fighter. He likes to get into his flow, get into his rhythm, and he stays where he's comfortable. He stays in the boxing range, throws some kicks. He's high on his wrestling. I haven't seen much of his wrestling, but he's very high on it. So my job is going to be not to let him get into that rhythm. He's stepping into the UFC for the very first time, where I'm in my 7th fight in the UFC now, and I feel very comfortable inside of the octagon. Get in his face right away. And I don't want to – I'm never the kind of guy that's like in my head, you know what, you're a new guy, I'm the veteran, I'm going to bully you. I'm just going to go in there and I just do what I always do and just be the best me that I could be. With that said, I'm looking to put him away. Like, I don't want to go in there and feel out anymore. I used to do a lot of my early fights in UFC where the first round was a very feeling out fight. I would get dropped, and I would come back and win the fight. No more of that. We're done with that. I say it every fight that I've been working on it, and I constantly work on it in sparring. I had some really good rounds today, as a matter of fact. Paul Daly was in at Black House today, and he was a great sparring partner for me. Paul Daly is obviously a very efficient striker, really efficient with the boxing in the hands. We had like 3 or 4 really good rounds today, and yeah, momentum's going good, camp's going good. I'm excited about this fight against Muhammad.
This will be a good fight for you, and I do see it being one of those shows that you can showcase. You can actually get your rhythm, get your pattern, establish the fight, establish the pace, and showcase it. Now, it might be hard to finish him, but it's going to be an exciting fight, even if it's just a decision, which is hard to say a lot of times now in MMA. If you analyze a fight and go, hey, this thing might go to decision, it's usually like, okay, it's not going to be high action. It's not going to be crazy. It's not going to be, it's not going to have that Max Holloway last 10 seconds. Let me stand in the center and bang this guy. Most fights don't have that, Yeah. This now with Muhammad, you can actually make this fight be exciting. I think Belal's going to bring it to you as much as you bring it to him, but from a different way. Like you said, he's momentum based. He's going to find his pace, his pattern. So this thing goes to decision. It can still be very exciting and something that the fans will want to get behind and really get more onto you. I mean, right now, for me, the person that pushes you the most, outside of your fights, outside of like fight week, is Karen Bryant. Like every time I get on Karen, I look at her media feed. There's something about Ellen on there. Like she's always got something going on. She's always talking about you, talking to you, or making fun of one of your modeling posters up on Brea. Like
podcasts together, so we see each other frequently. Yeah,
but she's always talking about you outside of all that. Like just unsolicited, she's always pumping you up, and she's like your biggest proponent. I think with this fight, after this fight, if you have a great showing, whether it's decision or God forbid it's a knockout finish, that's a whole different explosion for you. But I think this fight can actually explode you to the next level. I really do think it can because of the things you've already got in place previous to this. That now when this fight happens, people will be like, oh, you see, now Karen's like, oh, you see, I told you it's going to happen. I told you. See, now it's a thing. Yeah. So this fight for you is great. I'm excited for it. Of course, I'm excited for the whole week. Are you going to stay around after and watch the other fights? Because you fight Thursday. You going to stay around and watch the fights on Friday and Saturday?
Man, it's tough. It's so tempting. It's so tempting with all the activities going on outside of the fight, and then the Ultimate Fighter finale Friday, and then UFC 200 obviously on Saturday. But man, anybody that knows Vegas, you're in Vegas for a week already before your fight, and then you have to fight. I'll probably go home the next day. As much as I want to stay and see UFC 200, I can only handle Vegas for so long. I don't know. I've never lived there, but when I do go there, 2 or 3 days at max, the dry air, the smoke, the just walking in the lobby, it's a lot for me. So I'll probably go back after, just because I'm a drive away in LA. I could just drive home the next day. But yeah, I'll be there for a week. I'll probably look to get a good finish, a good momentum building fight. The next day, celebrate at the pool, I'm hoping, and then not too banged up, and then drive home. But as far as what you were saying with this fight, Muhammad, and being able to maybe break through after it, I'm hoping so, man. I'm really hoping so. I'm really hoping that even though, like we said, he's not the name that the UFC fans recognize as much, you know what? It does matter somewhat in rankings, but also the one thing I've found is that dominant performances, feeding to the crowd, the energy of the fans, those are the kind of things, making a highlight reel, name or no name, you do something spectacular and get the fans off of their feet, butts out of their seats, that's the highlight reel that's playing all day. That's the one that UFC's promoting when they talk about you, and that's what creates the energy and propels you to the next level. So I don't have the recognizable name to the UFC fans, but as long as I go out there and perform like I should, I can still get that momentum to the next level, I find.
Thanks, Alan, so much for coming on here, man. I greatly appreciate it. I can't wait to see this fight, man. It's going to be incredible. Have fun with the rest of your training camp, man. Enjoy Vegas as much as you can. Of course, having lived there for the last 11 years or so, to me, I have a totally different understanding of Vegas. Like, I'm in a house, like way off the strip. Like, I don't only go down the strip when it's necessary. So, all right, man.
I get it.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself, man. We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it, Frank. Take care, man.